everyone wanted to talk about Black Hollow. Nestled deep in the forests of New England, the town had a history that people tried to forget. Every family had stories. Lights flickering in empty rooms, cold spots that made your breath visible in the middle of summer, and the screams that sometimes pierced the night, but no one ever knew their source. At the edge of town stood a massive, decaying mansion. Locals called it the Black Hollow House. It had been abandoned for decades, yet lights were sometimes seen in the windows, and shadows moved where no one should have been. A family had once lived there, a family who vanished one winter night, leaving all their belongings behind. Food still sat on the table, a fire still smoldered in the hearth, and the town never recovered from the terror that followed. For years, people avoided the house, but rumors reached a group of investigators who specialized in the paranormal. They arrived on a foggy October night, cameras and recorders in hand. From the moment they stepped onto the property, a weight pressed down on them, heavy and suffocating. The air smelled of decay, yet faintly sweet, like rotting flowers. As they entered, whispers began. They were soft at first, almost impossible to hear, but they grew louder with every step. Names were called, names of the investigators themselves. Shadows twisted along the walls, seeming to move independently of the light. Every creak of the floorboards echoed like a scream. The investigators found journals in the living room, left by the missing family. The entries were frantic. "They are in the walls. They follow at night. We cannot escape." The last page was ripped, leaving only smudges and stains that could have been tears or blood. Time passed differently in Black Hollow House. Minutes stretched into hours. Doors slammed without wind, cold hands brushed shoulders when no one was there, and mirrors reflected impossible figures. Twisted faces, children that didn't exist, and dark silhouettes that vanished the moment you looked directly at them. One of the investigators, reviewing footage later, noticed a small child standing behind him in the reflection of a mirror. When he turned, the hallway was empty, and yet he could still hear soft footsteps following him. The night dragged on. Shadows crept along the ceiling, flickering lights revealed grotesque shapes, and an oppressive darkness settled in the corners of every room. At one point, a piano played by itself, a haunting melody that seemed to echo the screams of the vanished family. As dawn approached, the investigators discovered a hidden basement, one not marked on any blueprint. Inside were personal belongings, old clothes, toys, and photographs, but also signs of something darker. Symbols were etched into the walls, and the floor was scattered with what looked like old newspapers describing disappearances in Black Hollow. Every one of them told the same story. People vanished, whispers were heard, shadows were seen, and no one returned. Despite the danger, the team stayed until sunrise, documenting everything. But the house did not release them completely. One investigator swore he saw the mother of the missing family standing by the window, crying silently, as if trapped between worlds. Another felt icy fingers wrap around their wrist in the middle of the night, only to vanish when they called for help. When they finally left, the house loomed behind them, silent yet alive. Black Hollow was patient. It waited for the next curious souls, for the next people brave or foolish enough to enter. And those who did never spoke the same way again. Their dreams were haunted, their minds touched by shadows that whispered from beyond. Even today, locals warn, do not go near Black Hollow after dark. The house is hungry, and it remembers every face it sees. Some nights, the wind carries the faint echo of laughter or screams. And if you ever walk past the edge of the forest, you might see the lights in the windows. You might feel a presence just behind you, watching, waiting, and wondering when you'll disappear into Black Hollow forever. In 2014, a small roadside hotel in rural Illinois became the center of a mystery that was never officially solved. It wasn't famous. It didn't appear in travel guides. Most people stopped there only because their cars broke down or because they needed a cheap place to sleep for the night. Room 417 was just like the others. Beige walls, old carpet, a small bathroom, and a landline phone that barely worked. But over the years, guests started requesting one thing very clearly: never give us room 417. The hotel staff never asked why. They didn't need to. They already knew. It started with a man named Daniel Harris, a traveling insurance agent. He checked into room 417 late one night after his car broke down on the highway. According to the receptionist, Daniel looked exhausted but calm. Nothing about him seemed unusual. At 2:17 a.m., the front desk phone rang. When the receptionist picked it up, all she heard was heavy breathing. Then a man's voice whispered, "Someone is standing near my bed." The receptionist assumed it was a prank or a nightmare. She told Daniel to turn on the lights and calm down. But before she could finish speaking, the line went dead. Security was sent to the room. Room 417 was empty. Daniel Harris was never found. No luggage, no signs of struggle. The bed was untouched. The bathroom was dry. The window was locked from inside. Police investigated, but the case slowly went cold. The hotel stayed open. Life moved on. Until the phone calls started again. Guests in nearby rooms complained that their phones rang late at night, but when they answered, no one spoke. Some said they heard breathing. Others said they heard footsteps. One guest claimed a voice asked, "Can you see me?" Every time this happened, it was always around 2:17 a.m. One night, a woman staying in room 416 reported that she heard someone walking back and forth in the room next to her. She assumed a guest had checked in, but when she looked under the door gap, she saw no light. Later, she heard the phone ring in room 417. Then silence. Hotel records showed that room 417 had not been rented that night. Maintenance workers refused to enter the room alone. They said the air inside felt wrong, thick, heavy, and cold. Some reported seeing the bathroom mirror fog up on its own. Others said the phone receiver was warm, as if someone had just used it. In 2017, a night manager decided to test something. He stayed in room 417 himself, keeping a voice recorder running. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the room phone rang. The recorder captured his voice answering it. Then another voice responded. It sounded weak, strained. It said, "I never left." The manager quit the next day. The hotel quietly removed the phone from room 417, but that didn't stop the incidents. Guests reported hearing phones ring anyway. Some woke up to missed calls on their mobile phones from unknown numbers, always at 2:17 a.m. One voicemail left to a guest contained only breathing and then a whisper, "Please open the door." In 2020, the hotel shut down permanently. The building still stands, abandoned near the highway. Truck drivers passing by say they sometimes see a light on in one room, the fourth floor, far end of the hall. Room 417. And locals warn each other. If your phone rings late at night from a number you don't recognize, don't answer it. Because some calls aren't coming from the living. Telephone I. County Road 6 runs through a stretch of land most people try to avoid at night. It cuts through farmland and forest in rural Ohio with no streetlights and almost no cell service. During the day, it looks ordinary. At night, it feels wrong. Truck drivers had talked about it for years. They spoke in low voices at diners and rest stops. Some laughed it off. Others refused to drive that route after sunset. They all mentioned the same thing. A woman standing on the side of the road. She usually appeared between midnight and 3 a.m. She wore old-fashioned clothes, always light-colored, and she never moved when cars passed her. She didn't wave. She didn't ask for help. She just stood there, facing the road, as if waiting. Most drivers ignored her. The ones who stopped regretted it. In 2009, a college student named Eric Lawson was driving home late after visiting a friend. His GPS lost signal near County Road 6, but he knew the way. That's when he saw her. She stood near a broken fence, just inches from the road. Her head was slightly tilted down. Eric slowed his car and rolled down the window. "Are you okay?" he asked. She lifted her head slowly. Her face was pale, almost gray, and her eyes looked unfocused, like she was staring through him, not at him. "I need a ride," she said quietly. Her voice sounded distant, like it didn't belong to her. Against his better judgment, Eric unlocked the passenger door. The woman opened it and got in. The moment she sat down, the temperature inside the car dropped. Eric's breath fogged the windshield even though it was summer. He asked where she was going. She didn't answer. As he drove, he noticed something strange. The car felt heavier, like it was struggling to move. The radio crackled with static. His phone shut off completely. After a few minutes, he glanced at the passenger seat. It was empty. The door was still locked. Eric slammed the brakes and pulled over, heart racing. That's when he saw her again, standing several feet ahead of the car, in the middle of the road, facing him. He reversed immediately and sped away. He didn't look back. Later that night, Eric reported the incident to local police. The officer listening went quiet when Eric described the woman. Then he told him something that chilled him. A woman matching that description had died on County Road 6 in the 1980s after being struck by a car. The driver never stopped. Her body wasn't found until morning. Eric never drove that road again. But the sightings continued. In 2015, a delivery driver claimed the woman appeared in his backseat without him stopping. He felt someone breathing behind him. When he turned around, he saw her reflection in the rearview mirror, sitting silently, staring forward. He crashed his truck moments later. He survived. She disappeared. Residents living near the road say they sometimes hear footsteps outside their houses late at night. When they look out, they see a woman standing near their driveway, facing away from the house. By the time they blink, she's gone. No footprints are ever found. Today, County Road 6 remains open. Cars still pass through it every night. And sometimes, if the conditions are right, no wind, no moon, complete silence, you might see her. Standing patiently, waiting for someone kind enough or foolish enough to stop. And if you ever do see her, locals have only one rule. Do not slow down. Do not open your door. And whatever you do not let her inside your car, automobile.